Yo, what is really good, my dudes? Today is Monday, January 21st, 2019, and we got another RuneScape update for y'all. Today we see the return of the Hati, Skoll, and Fenrir wolves in the Fremmenik area, as well as a big quality of life update for various things in combat. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go!
Cats is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, like I said, Hati, Skoll, and Fenrir make a return. This time it's been revamped for this yearly event. You'll still be assisting Eir with summoning her Valkyrie companions, and will be taking on the wolves as expected. This time around, you'll be gathering Valkyrie feathers through skilling combat daily challenges and defeating the winter wolves, and you can return them to her to help her summon her companions in exchange for legendary rewards such as a tiny Valkyrie bobblehead, a bunch of weapons, and an additional cape. Rune coins can be spent to directly buy currency, and additionally there is no limit to the amount of currency a player can earn each day. Now this event will run until Monday, the 11th of February, so keep that in mind. Bit of a change this time around for the Hati, Skoll, Fenrir events, but interesting to see nonetheless. That being said, it's also a major combat quality of life update day, but we're going to head on over to the patch notes and see exactly what was changed over there, so let's go ahead and check those out. An issue causing AoE spells such as Burst and Barrage Ancient Magics to not award adrenaline correctly has been fixed. Performing abilities while moving with Revolution enabled will now play attack animations. Added a small delay when equipping items from the action bar so they can't accidentally be instantly removed. The Provoke ability can no longer accidentally be triggered when equipping a Barrow's Shield. Should the mutating Dazing Shot ability or Salt the Wound miss on your enemy, the timer for puncture will now still extend. Mutated Dazing Shot puncture effect will no longer cause necks to heal during the Blood Siphon phase. Ability queuing will no longer stop the buff from Needle Strike going to the following ability. Ability queuing will no longer stall the player movement after using an ability. Ability queuing no longer stops on tick heals with the Resonance ability. Saren God Bow special attack changes. They've fixed an issue with some of the damage calculations, and the special attack now ensures damage bonuses are applied correctly, for example, Death Swiftness. Bladed Dive ability will no longer change the direction of the player is facing shortly after using it, and also awards adrenaline when being used to enter combat. Using a basic ability while running into combat will now award adrenaline correctly. Bladed Dive will no longer allow you to click on another player while activating it outside of PvP. The damage modifiers from damage enhancing scrimshaws, berserk auras, metamorphosis ability are now calculated earlier. This means that boss phases correctly when they reach the HP thresholds and mechanics that rely on damage to progress, such as Telos's tendrils and Virago's pushback phases. Phase 5 for normal mode, phases 10 and 11 on hard mode. Will now take additional damage from the modifiers into the equation. Boss kill timer messages are no longer filtered. There's no longer a small delay of the character after using the snipe ability with Nightmare Gauntlets equipped. The damage values for the rune thrown axes have been corrected. Phase transitions for rune dragons have vastly improved and made smoother. The Book of Death effect should now correctly work when fighting against rune dragons. Remove the delay when activating the Metamorphosis ability. Aggression potions now correctly affect cockatrices. Now added a way to track your highest Telos streak. Everyone will start at 0, and streaks completed from the launch of this update will track your highest streak. You can now quick chat your current Telos streak and enrage, as well as quick chat your highest kill streak. When viewing Telos in the Beast tab, it will now display your highest kill streak. Added a small delay after activating the Reprisal ability so that its effects cannot be immediately triggered by accident. A couple of changes to Solak fixed an issue with Solak trying to delay his phase 3 transition while doing the Binding Crush attack. Players that remained in Solak's mind from phase 3 to 4 will no longer be teleported back to the base map after their 10 seconds are up. Fixed an issue with certain abilities and actions when stopping Solak from awarding loot. Insta-kill in the last phase of the Solak fight will no longer consume signs of life or death. Ancient Elven Ritual Shard debuff cooldown timer now accurately displays how much time must pass before it can be used again. Increase the collection log tracking cap on Aerith Thor's Grimoire pages from Solak. Kill count for Solak will no longer be awarded after dying and then standing in a different Solak instance. The insta-kill on phase 4 for Solak will no longer hit players that died in that battle and then stood in a different Solak instance. An issue that could cause players to not be able to properly transition into Phase 4 if a member of the team died and created their own Soul instance has been resolved. So like duo mode and group mode kill times now display separately in the Beast tab and can be broadcasted separately. Duo mode falls under hard mode. Allowed a warn slot to be added to the action bar, allowing you to use that slot's options even when switching items. Dominion Tower Rewards interface has been reworked and now supports Buy X. Change the Dominion Journal destroy message between its completed and unfinished state. Dominion Tower Climber now rolls for handicap more quickly by skipping the need for the stop button. Reaching the Shattered Worlds checkpoint now restores life points, prayer points, summoning points, run energy, and cures poison. A couple of changes to mining. The upgraded hidden mine will no longer show as being a member's unlock in the Dungeoneering skill guide, as it's now free to play unlock. Metamorphic geodes now give chance to strange rocks for each one if all are not owned or the statue is not built. You can no longer mine crablets on another player's Uncharted Isle. The description of Juju Mining Potion and Perfect Juju Mining Potion reflected an outdated design and have been updated to correctly match their current effects. Strong Mining Urns now correctly work in free-to-play. The Mining Skill Guide now correctly states what the Mining Skill Cape effect is. The Polishing, Imbued Soul, Butterfingers, and Cheapskate Invention perks will now work correctly while mining. Players now have the option of turning off mining hit splats for critical swings and rock opportunities. It's a known issue that hit splats are currently causing players in safe mode Java to crash. The ability to turn hit splats off now allows players to mine without crashing. The mine to the southeast of Varrock now houses tin ore as previously stated on the world map icon tooltip. Updated ores and combat items in NPC guide prices within the Grand Exchange. Coal trucks now correctly work for the Everything is Awesome achievement. Players will no longer be able to remove pickaxes from their tool belt while in New Varrock. Bainite rocks, double ore mining no longer mentioned twice on the mining skill guide. Liquid gold nymph will no longer gild pickaxes on the tool belt when you pick the option to give the nymph a different pickaxe. Nechrite rocks will now have appropriate colors when seen with the textures disabled. Some blocking next to a mithril rock in the Treherne district has been removed to allow miners to move around the rock more easily. A couple of changes to smithing. Pets, familiars, and followers are no longer able to enter the Artisan's Workshop. A forge and anvil in the Anil Workshop have been moved to allow Clue Scroll enthusiasts to once again dig from within the building. Steel and iron plate bodies can be smelted into ingots. Coal bag has been replaced by the auto heater on the Dungeoneering skill guide. While superheating, you won't lose more bars than intended anymore. Using superheat item works as expected with the smelting gauntlets. Sylv chain now correctly requires a mithril bar to be made. The smithing auto heater will now consume 5 coal instead of 1 to reheat in progress items at 0 heat. Players who still have portable forges will now find that they can be converted into portable skilling packs when used. Players can once again use smelting gauntlets to make 60 of masterwork alloy bars. Accessing any functionality with the metal bank aside from depositing will now require a bank pin. Updated smithing skill guide for Bane heat upgrades. Smithing skill guide now tells you how much faster you smelt bars. A couple of other changes to the mining and smithing rework. Corrected the answer for the treasure chest challenge, how many rocks cannot be used to make bronze in the Remington mine, to reflect changes to the environment with the mining smithing rework. The layout of the Varrock Southeast mining sites have been updated to more closely resemble an easy clue scroll map. Varrock Southeast mining icon now includes tin ore, but not enough to spawn rock opportunities. Some unattainable gloves were removed from the Grand Exchange. Sheathed Bane pickaxes now animate correctly. Armor spikes will no longer damage invulnerable enemies. Moved clue location under the Artisan's Workshop wall to nearby tile. Using Flat Pack Depacker allows you to make 60 flat packs once again. The Spring Cleaner will now use the appropriate amount of springs when alking noted salvage. Previously it would only use 1 spring for a stack of multiple salvage. All fanatics have been given their notice of termination and sent home, as their services are no longer required after the mining smithing rework release. This is in part due to numerous noise complaints. Armor spikes will now be kept on death, and they now work correctly on larger monsters. Updated the smithing requirements for player on house armor displays to match the mining smithing rework level requirement changes. The resourceful ore examine has been updated to correctly match what it does. The Milestones tab in the Mining Smithing Skill Guides no longer displays all leveling benefits. Chat head models for the new Mining Smith armors have been slightly adjusted to be more consistent. Daily mining and smithing challenges no longer state that you need to hand over any items. Updated pipe texture when the Luminite injector is active in the Artisan's Workshop. Perfect jewelry consumes both ingredients as intended. Attempted to create a perfect gold ring or perfect gold necklace whilst already owning one will no longer cause a disconnection. And a couple of other changes. The Champions achievement completion can no longer be triggered multiple times. An issue that is causing food troughs at the player-owned farm to only be able to add as much mush to the trough as free inventory space you had has been resolved, and as such you can add up to 60 mush into a trough at once. Issues that stop players from being able to create Blood Rager pouches in Demon Heim have been resolved, and the interface should again correctly identify how many pouches a player can make of what type, restoring normal functionality. Rune Minotaur pouches now require 100 Spirit Shards instead of 1 Spirit Shard. Recently completed quest achievements no longer give an error as they have nowhere to link to. Added some chat to Violet in her quest on the ice puzzle section to mention that you can push her diagonally. It's no longer possible to repeatedly log out and in to obtain free rewards from opening Treasure Hunter. No longer possible to obtain free rewards / taster rewards from 2CT promotions. The Engineering Team card will no longer work on multiple floors. Fixed an issue when dismissing an inventory-based follower pet on a free-to-play world could cause players to disconnect. Fixed an issue where some players would receive the "you have items awaiting delivery that you have purchases from the loyalty shop or website, please clear space in your pack to allow for delivery" message even though no items were awaiting delivery. There's a new user setting called Automatically Trigger Regenerate which activates when leaving combat. The setting can be found under Gameplay Combat Action Bar. This setting is disabled by default for existing users, but will be enabled by default for any new users or returning users who have lapsed over 3 months. And that is it for your patch notes. Links to everything discussed in this video will be down in the description below if you want to go ahead and check them out for yourself. Head on over there to do so. And with that, I'm going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Peace.